I am live and I just made it to putting on the glasses. Thank you so much. So welcome you guys. Welcome to Growing Gratitude. I'm Becca Lori Hector and my pillow fell over. I'm Becca Lori Hector and I am your, ooh, that's fun. I should go turn that off probably. It's going to do it the entire time we're here. Hang on, I'll be right back. Apologies. Okay, I'm back. I forgot to turn that off. And so thank you. And that's because I'm all like, right? You'll notice because I just came in from outside. Yes, I was just outdoors in the Maine cold with my puppy dogs, giving them some outside time because it's a really, really pretty day here in Maine. And so, hello, Bernard. Hello, Burnett. I'm so excited to have people here with me today. So like I said, I was just out in my backyard with my dogs, and so I'm a little out of breath. And here I am for Growing Gratitude. And we're going to talk about the reason I actually was just outside. So let's talk about it. I hope that you enjoy what we talk about here, but this one's going to be a little bit interesting, this little conversation. So if you haven't taken my course, Self-Defined Living, please go check it out on my website. This is the kind of stuff that I talk about in the course and how I help you kind of put together your life so that you can live a life that feels aligned with what it is that you want to create, that feels aligned with who you are as a person, right? And is a sustainable way of living. And so that's what my course is all about. And in that course, I give lots of different components. Hey, Bill, of how you can do that, how you can, little tools that you can use, that you can optimize for yourself, you can customize for yourself, all of these things. And the best part about the course is that I teach it from experience, meaning that all of the things that I talk about, I do in there. So all of the things throughout the entire 3 units of the course, I use all of those tools in my real life still, even now. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. That's why I was just outside with the dogs. So there's 2 things that I like to think about in terms of my everyday that help me keep my boundaries up and also keep me aligned moving forward. And as I change over to a new word, right, like I just did, moving from forge to fructify, I like to think about and pause and think about those things that I rely on, those really the touchstones in my day that I rely on, and make sure they're still working, right? Am I still using them correctly? And when I switch words, even though most of the time I'm still heading towards the same goal, it's not like my goals shift necessarily entirely from year to year. The long-term goals stay the same, right? But what does change when you change your word is how you get there. Okay. And so, what I want to say is that when I switch my word, what I often like to do is take a look at my vision board and decide whether that vision board still works after the year of whatever that word was. So, does my vision board from Forge still work and apply with Fructify? Or do I need to shift things up? Do I need to start all over? Do I need to just adjust a few things? But it's a moment to sit with whatever your new word is and look at what you are doing in your everyday, right? And kind of make sure that that is supporting you, right? So my vision board is one of my daily supports. I look at my vision board regularly, right? I have them in a few little niche places, right? Copies of it. I have one on my phone that I can get to easily, one on my laptop. You can hang physical copies. And when I talk about a vision board, I want to take this moment to remind you that traditionally, right, a vision board is a piece of paper, or actually a piece of cardboard, that you go and you cut out little pieces from magazines that represent the life that you are looking to create, and you sticky them all together, right, on this piece of cardboard. Well, I want to remind you that in the days of technology, and since all of us aren't crafty peoples, it doesn't have to look like that, your vision board, right? I do my vision board on Canva. because it's fun for me to find all the different little graphics, and I can get photos and upload them and things like that. And I just have a lot of control. And for me, as someone with dyspraxia, using a scissor is not the most fun thing ever. And it's much easier for me. It takes less spoons for me to create my vision board if I do it on Canva. Having said that, you can do you can do a digital vision board like I do. You can do a physical one like the old-fashioned kind. You can make one that is on an Excel sheet, that you can make it into a spreadsheet. It can be a list, it can be a bullet outline, right? It can be whatever works for your brain, because some of us are pictures in our brains peoples, and some of us have aphantasia and we don't have pictures in our brains. And so we need another way to do that. So for me, accommodating my own needs, the best way for me to create a vision board is on Canva. Yay. So as I was kind of thinking about that this weekend, I was like, okay, we're settled into 2025. New bracelet is on. Let me do some check-ins with myself, right? Because it's that time. And so I looked at my vision board and I was like, there wasn't enough fruit, right? Or metaphorical fruit on my vision board, right? Forge was all about building the path there. But this year for me is all about making things blossom. And so there wasn't a lot of fructify on my Forge vision board, not surprisingly. And so I realized definitely that's on my to-do list, to redo my vision board. So that's one thing that I wanted to share in terms of my tools that I use, that I teach, and all of those things. And the other thing I spend a lot of time talking about are your routines and the ways that you can surround yourself, right, with structure that works for you and helps keep you in alignment and helps keep you working towards those goals, right? And so I'm a big believer in the strength of morning and night routines, because a morning routine, right, starts you off your day right. It gets you in the right mindset. The proper morning routine gets you in the right mindset for the day ahead, right? And a proper night routine lets you process the day that you've had and also set yourself up for success the next day, right? And the way you want to head into the next day. Cool. So I'm a big believer in those. And in looking at all of my checkstones, I was like, oh, is my morning routine still working? Because here's the thing. I struggle in the mornings. That is not a great time of day for me. Nighttime is a much better time of day for me. The transition from sleep to awake is a tough one for my brain and body. It takes me a long time to fall asleep, and so it takes me a long time to wake up from sleep. So my morning routine is all about easing myself into the day, right? And how I can do that and start my day off with the best energy. Because what I used to do is wake up, reach over, grab my cell phone, and start checking my emails. Like open an eyeball, grab my phone. That used to be my morning routine. And there is never anything that you are happy to see in your inbox when you first open your eyeballs in the morning, right? And so that's what was happening to me. I was looking at my email first thing in the morning, and then before I even got out of bed, I was in the worst mood. I was angry, I was frustrated, I was all of these things before I even started my day. So I shifted up my morning routine, and I've had a very similar morning routine for the last couple of years since we moved here to this house. And in realizing that I have made this shift this year, more towards the stuff that I really like creating, and back to the course and all of the seminars and teaching all of these things again, the personal development stuff, that I might need to shift up my morning routine. It occurred to me. I just might. And it turns out I do, right? Because what happens is once you do a morning routine for a certain amount of time, it's very, very easy, right, to fall into autopilot of doing your morning routine, right? And when we fall into autopilot, the impact of what we're doing is less. We're sort of dissociated from that routine in our own way when we go into autopilot. And so I realized that a lot of the things that I do in the morning have now gone into autopilot. And the reason I'm feeling it is because it's winter. And yes, our days are getting longer. Hooray. Finally, the days are getting on. But I'm spending less time outside, right? And I think that's why I'm feeling like my morning routine isn't effective, because when it's nice out, part of my morning routine is to kind of go out with the dogs and sit outside with them for a little bit, right? And I haven't been doing that because I will tell you, it has been frigid. frigid up here in Maine, so cold. And today is this beautiful sunny day. And I was like, you know what? I really feel like going out there. And that's because I haven't been going out there. So it was an awareness that I've got some shifts that I've got to make, right, in my morning routine. And that despite how frigid it often is outside, I need to go stand in my back door with the door open and breathing in fresh air and taking in the sunlight for just a few minutes every day. And it's very helpful to me when I do it in the morning before I start really any work. Right. And it's even more helpful to me when it extends out of my morning and I do it a couple of times a day, that I take breaks to walk away from my computer, to go breathe in the fresh air, to remind myself of the reality that surrounds me and that what's happening in here in this computer is not real life all the time. It's a part of life, but it's not all of life. Right. And I need to go out there to remind myself of that. And it's absolutely gorgeous. Can I find my phone? Probably not. I just took a picture, so I'll be posting that on social later today. I took a picture of my backyard with the dogs and just nothing special, right? But it's the nothing special that is so special, right? And so I'm going to be shifting up a couple of things in my morning routine. I'm still feeling pretty okay about my night routine, but I might shift that up. But it's a reminder to you guys that we have all of these touchstone tools that we should be using on the daily, right? And that if we're not careful, those touchstones become autopilot habits, which means they lose their effectiveness. Right? There's an amount of mindfulness and being present that has to happen in those activities for them to be effective. Right? I can't just glance at my vision board and look at the same thing I've looked at every day and just be like, oh, right? I need to stop and pause and look at it and look at all of the pieces and remind myself of all of the details. Because when we picture those details, that is how we manifest them. Right? And if you're not a believer in manifestation, you really have to take my course. It's not about manifestation, it's about energy movement. Right? And so for me, if I am focusing my energy on my vision board and the things on my vision board, I'm not focusing them on other things, which means that I'm going to get myself to what I'm focused on, not to what's distracting me. Right? It's that little bit, right, that keeps us aligned, that keeps us, and when we're aligned, we get where we want to go. When we get off path, can't get there so fast, right? And so that's what these are. They're little secrets to getting there and little secrets to creating the spaces in your life where you can be doing all of these things. And with that, I want to share with you guys that the last big shift that I made, that you guys have been on board for this time around, was all about returning to my original content. So I have, for the last few years, I was doing a lot of DEI work, working in employment, working in the employment arena and employment advocacy, and really just talking about disability in the workplace. And it burnt me out. And so in reminding myself that I'm feeling burned out and I can shift things up, I, of course, remembered how much doing the personal development type stuff that I do does lift me up, and it helps me stay in alignment, and it helps me live my life to my fullest. And so I decided to switch back to it sometime September, October, I think it was. But I want to tell you, I am in this month, in these last few weeks, feeling the results of that laborious shift. And it was a laborious shift, let me tell you. And I had to do a lot of things and do a lot of things really all at once, kind of handling everything all at once. And so that's why I was feeling so tired right before we got to the holidays, because I was doing a lot of stuff that I had to do in order to get to the place where I am now, right? I was thinking about the choices I was making then and how they were going to impact my now, right? And here I am in the now, right? And it worked. And that's what I want to share with you guys is making that shift has worked in ways that I didn't even anticipate. So, detaching myself from that workplace work meant that my everyday job, right? I wasn't being reminded of how messed up everything is everywhere. Right. It's also a big lift to make sure that you're using correct information and that you're citing the right sources and that you're keeping up with the news and all of these other things, right, that I was doing. And none of those things were filling me up. None of them were sparking my brain or getting me excited. I was doing good work and I was making forward movement and I was helping people, but I was feeling really drained from it. So I made that shift, right? And I went back to this personal development content, and I cannot tell you how much lighter I feel doing stuff that is mine, that I am building, that is more about attracting the right people to me and less about trying to fix the wrong people. I don't know how else to say that. And so I'm putting my energy and efforts into people that are valuing what it is that I have to say and what it is that I do. And so I'm really seeing that reciprocation from you guys out there in the interwebs land. So thank you for that. Thank you for supporting the shift in my social media. Thank you to the new people who have found me as I have shift over. That was one I was not expecting. I was just hoping to hang on to my folks that had sort of been waiting for me to return with this kind of content. And I wasn't anticipating how many new folks would find me just by switching back. And so I'm so excited about that. That was a little bonus package for me to have that happen. And I'm really loving it. I'm loving new people finding me, new people finding the course. And it's that made me work so hard to decide to really put up a Patreon, which is up. You guys, my Patreon is up and running, and there you are welcome to head over to my Patreon. The link is in the description below. Become a member. I am creating tools like a crazy person now that I'm doing what lights me up, right? It is non-effort for me to produce content around these things because I know they work. And they're in here and they're the way that I live my life. And it is like I told you, it is working smarter. Right? I am doing what comes easily to me, what I enjoy, what I'm good at, right? And it is reaching other people. And so I'm going to stay on that train. I didn't expect it to I knew it would be easier for me and a lighter load for me. I wasn't anticipating all of this other positivity that I'm getting with it. Not just the new followers, but how I'm feeling inside about the content that I'm putting out. For example, the newsletter. So the newsletter's back, Monthly Musings. It went out in January. So if you were signed up, you got the January newsletter. It is like a redo of Monthly Musings, all kinds of new things. I've got downloads in there and challenges in there and all kinds of other things. And there's, again, it's like it doesn't feel like work to me. And that feels like smart work. Right? I enjoy our time together. I enjoy talking to each other. I enjoy connecting with you guys and finding out and hearing about the tools that I give you. And when they work for you guys, there is nothing better for me than hearing that the stuff that I'm giving to you guys works. So head over to Patreon. I'm doing a monthly download there for certain tiers. I'm doing a group call for certain tiers over there. I'm doing all kinds of shout outs. So we'll be doing shout outs here on Growing Gratitude for members. We'll be doing shout outs in the newsletter for people. A whole bunch of things will be happening. Our little Facebook group, our closed Facebook group, folks are going to be sharing in that unless I move our little group to another platform, which I might. But we've got a little closed self-defined living group and we'll have a closed Patreon group. It's a lot of fun, all those things, but it's not going to be any fun if you guys aren't there. And that's the truth. I can keep creating these things into a void, but if you guys aren't there with me, it's no fun. So I hope you'll head over to Patreon, check it out, take a look at some of the things that I put out there, and take a look if you haven't at the newsletter. And it's going to be a mush of those kind of things over there. And I hope we'll have created a nice little community of us, the same little group of us that watch the live stream and chat in live stream and come every week and all of those things. And the same folks that are taking the course and are, really involved in fixing up their lives and making it better for them. I hope that we'll all get together because we're all thinking similarly, and it will be a lot easier for us to get where we're going if we have each other's support. Right? So that's what I'm hoping to create over there. If you didn't get the newsletter this month, go ahead and shoot me an email. I will send it over to you. Not a problem. If you are subscribed after it went out, I'll send you one right now. Just send me an email that you want it. But do sign up because I've already started working on our February newsletter and I can't wait to get it to you. I love it. It's almost finished and I can't wait for it to be February. So newsletter's back. Patreon is up. I'm fixing up my vision board this week. When I'm done with the vision board, I will definitely share it with you guys. I'm going to work on it this week, I think. And I'll show you an example just of my vision board, which is, it doesn't have to be what your vision board looks like at all. And I'm going to be thinking more about this morning routine, and kind of, I'm definitely, outside time is going in there. But some other things may have to shift up as well. So I'm going to think about that. I've seen some people taking to early morning walks, and that's, really helped them. And so that might be my outdoor time. We'll see. But in any case, those are the things I wanted to share with you this week. It was a really interesting week for me, and I'm really loving the energy that I love the Fructify energy, and I am loving the energy that it let me bring into 2025. It feels really aligned. I feel like I'm in my proper skin. And I'm talking about the things that matter the most to me. And so that shift has been, it's giving gifts that I probably don't even know about yet. And so it just shows you that when you're really feeling the burnout, there's a reason you're feeling it, right? Because things aren't right and you got to make some changes. And with that, I will say, let me go ahead and put on the glasses. Woot. With that, I will remind you, as always, here on Growing Gratitude, where we talk about the challenges of being an autistic adult right now and how we can motivate ourselves to get through to the next week. And part of the way that we do it is to make sure that we take care of our meat suit, make sure that we take care of our headspace, and make sure you are out there being mindful and present enough to hear, see, smell, taste, all of the things, the glimmers that are out there, all of those beautiful things that are happening. We know there are a ton of triggers out there, but the glimmers happen. And those are the things that light you up and fill you up to keep you energized, to keep going every day. So keep your eyes out for them. I will be back here next Monday at 11:30 Eastern. We will do another live stream. So I hope to see you then. And until then, you take care of yourselves, and I will see you on the interwebs. Bye.